So, how do you describe aesthetics? Thank you. I was hoping somebody would say that. Aesthetics is subjective. So this is I like, you don't like situation. Okay. Can anybody look at aesthetics in a different way? Is it possible, first of all? Okay, let me just back off here. Let me ask you another question. Okay. Say you saw a painting. Okay? Who would think of the artist that you like most, or a sculpture? And each of you imagine the painting or the sculpture that appeals to you, not one. Okay? And there's something about it that you just love. This is personal like I'm going to. Now, from that position, is it possible for you to extrapolate from the painting or the sculpture what it is about it that makes you respond to it in that fashion? For each one yourself. Each one of you to yourself. That's fine, whatever extent you can. And this is the starting point. I'm just starting on this point because that's I think the easiest point to start with is what you associate. Is it possible for you to look at it and extrapolate from it? What is it about it? Beyond saying it is beautiful, it is lovely to my eyes, those are things, are feelings, right? I'm trying you to go beyond that and say, I look at it, these are the qualities that I see in that painting. These are the aspects in the painting that makes me feel it appeals to me. Can we try this quickly? Forget about the artist. You're looking at the painting. You're looking at a piece of artwork. Okay, you don't know the artist. Okay, okay, I'm going to tell you. Okay, I'm giving you another situation. You don't know the artist. Okay, you don't. Simple. There's a Buddha when you enter this place. How many of you saw the Buddha? Do you all know the artist? But there's something about that Buddha? Okay, now tell me about that Buddha. Because I was just talking about the Buddha 5 minutes ago and I thought it's an amazing sculpture.
The conditioning of the mind that when you see a statue with a cap kind of thing.
All Buddha statues give you the same reaction?
No.
Some Buddha statues don't?
Right.
Why? And some do? I'm talking about the one that does.
It's again the conditioning of the mind.
Are you sure? That means in a way you're saying that the artist has no role. Every artist is the same. If all Buddhas are the same,
artists are different, but the way you look at it, your mind has been simulating.
so you're simulated. If I show you 10 Buddhas like that, for some reason one Buddha will look at it more. There is not really much discrimination there in conditioning. But there is something about this one Buddha that makes you look at it more.
Buddha means something which we already have it set up in the mind, the back of our mind. Maybe in my mind, I have some Buddha means it should be like this. If I see the same thing is there, maybe I could appreciate it. If it's not there,
Can you tell me a painting you have in your house? Tell me one painting you have in your
I
house.
have this Ravi Verma.
I knew you'd say Ravi Verma. Okay. Or you have Tanjore painting? You have seen Tanjore painting?
I have seen it.
Everybody has seen the Krishna Tanjore painting.
Yeah.
Everybody does the same thing. There's not one thing different in each of the Tanjore paintings, right? Same Krishna, same way he's sitting, he has the same Venda with him, everything. But then, some Tanjore paintings of that Krishna, there's something else about it that will make sense look at it. The others you want to look at it. It's the same.
The design, the construct of design.
Symmetry, scale, color.
Very nice, very nice. That's what I was looking at. Okay. Symmetry, scale, colors. So there are these are, in a way, I'm using this word carefully, in a way, functional aspects of the painting. Right? That's it. So there's something about the symmetry, there's something about, yeah, you're saying?
There's also something about essence because you spoke about 10 Buddhas. But in your mind you have this concept that Buddha is that particular pose of Buddha has something to do with repose, calm, peace. And that essence may not be captured, that expression.
Very nice. I was leading up to that from structure and construction.
What you were saying, or some kind of, when we see art, painting, or a sculpture, or anything that somebody has created, an artist has created, a part of the artist get into that entity as well. Like apart from technicalities, okay, my brush stroke is good, my sculpting is good, the symmetry, apart from all of that, when that person sits and draws something or colors something, a little bit of him, his expression is what he puts into it. Now, if that expression,
Just clarify. You said a little bit of him. You said a little bit of his expression. They're two different
him
things.
as in not physically him. I mean, his ideas, his expression.
So you're talking
Like,
about.
For example, she was telling
Okay.
about Buddha. It means like peace. It means calm. It means stability and all that. So that's how we've been seeing it, and that's how the artist also would have tried to put it inside the sculpture. So sometimes not every Buddha turns out to be as peaceful as we expect it to be. So when we see an expression of the artist in his creation, which if it is pleasing to our eyes, we say, okay, wow,
But
this is
then,
beautiful.
when you talk about this whole aspect, you're somewhere going back to the fact that there is something about the construction of that Buddha also. Because when you look at a Buddha, you're not looking at the essence of the Buddha, right? You
Not
just
apparently.
like, I'm just walking across this.
Not apparently.
Just hang on. I'm just walking across this CMI, and I will not even spend 2 seconds at the Buddha.
Yeah, I just did that.
Exactly. So you turn and you look at the Buddha and you turn out. But within that second,
You want to
there is something that makes you either turn back or remember it at least,
Right.
right? So the engagement with the Buddha at that point of time is extremely minimal, but yet there is something. Now she used the word essence, which is a very nice word. But the first thing, how do we get to that essence? If you want to get to that essence, is there something about the construction. I keep using the word construction for convenience sake. The form, he used the word symmetry, you can use so many words. And we're talking now visual, but we will transpose this to, try and transpose this idea to music also. So there is something about the whole form.
Actually, I feel
Mm.
that you have certain idea of how Buddha should look.
I think we've gone past that.
In some sense, if this Buddha is different,
Mm.
I may be a contrary man.
Mhm.
If there should be something different from, I would like to see an angry Buddha.
That is fine.
I think I'll react.
That is fine. I mean,
That-
I-
You have a laughing Buddha.
Yeah.
You have a laughing Buddha.
Yeah.
No, that's what I said. Like I said, it was. No.
Should be different
See,
from your-
like I said, I've gone beyond the point that whether it should be similar to 10 Buddhas or it should be different from 10 Buddhas. I am only talking about what is it that makes you look at that Buddha. Okay, even a different Buddha, all different Buddhas you don't look at. Right? Even among the whole different Buddhas, there are only certain different Buddhas that you look at. So we are going beyond this personal like of same Buddha or not. So we are going to the point of saying, what is it in that piece of art that makes it, that has an intrinsic aesthetic to it? I'm using aesthetics in a slightly different fashion than like or not. That makes you turn and look at it. Can I finish quickly? Yeah. So as I see it, as I perceive it, there is definitely something about the form, something about the content. The debate of content and form is a different debate for a different time. But there is something about the form, there is something about the content, and there is also something about the intent. When I say intent, I'm saying intent of the creator. A combination of all this could be perceived as an essence. Okay? So there is something about the piece of art beyond the fact that you like certain things and you don't like certain things that makes it a piece of art. Now your judgment of it, just try and dissociate yourself from that part of this discussion. Okay? Very hard to. Even as a musician, it is extremely hard to dissociate myself from me liking a raga, not liking a raga. Almost impossible. Okay? But let's just try and move that up. The reason I'm going through this exercise is again because when we get into music, we will battle with this problem, serious problem, especially when all of you have been exposed to music, the problem is even worse. Honestly, if you are not, it's far easier. But since you have, it's a big battle. Even as a musician, it's an everyday battle. Everyday battle for me to see if I can dissociate myself from this like and be able to look at it as a piece of art. So that's why I'm trying to just, by this process, move ourselves away from that position for some time, for just helping us perceive. So, aesthetics itself, therefore, means much more than like and don't like. Some people like a yellow house, some people like a blue house. Okay? That is your person. So you take that out. There is something about form, there is something about intent, there is something about the construction, and there is something about the essence that we experience. Okay? That makes something a piece of art. Definitely. So what is all this put together is what could be termed as the aesthetics of the art or the art form. So every art form, every part of the art form is part of this whole construction of aesthetics with all its features, with all its manifestations, and that gives you the total perception of art. This is as much true of music. Right? So therefore, to perceive the aesthetics of any art form, music or otherwise, there requires a conscious thought of engagement from everybody. Otherwise, we will be stuck in the position of saying, I don't like it, and I like it. So, if you want to really look at aesthetics of any art form, we have to move to the position of conscious thought and to perceive it as an art form and try and look at what is it, what are the aesthetics of it that make it an art form. Okay? So that's why the word aesthetics is not being used, I say in a colloquial sense because that's what we're using, but used in a far more sense of study and understanding. And if you move to that position of looking at aesthetics, I think you can try and perceive an art form slightly differently. It doesn't mean you have to carry this home and tomorrow go to a listen to me. I'm not in any way trying to propagate a certain way of looking at art. But I just feel if we can hold this for a while, we can try and look at it beyond what we like. And we can look at the idea of aesthetics as being something a little more profound. And I use this word profound carefully, than being only about how you associate it.
The question I have is when you say aesthetics, is this something that's unchanging, objective, somehow universal?
Very nice. Something objective need not be unchanging.
I understand, but I'm addressing separate aspects of what aesthetics might mean.
Yeah, I think aesthetics I think there's a generic point to aesthetic and there is a specific point to aesthetic. There are, I think, both parts to aesthetic. We cannot say aesthetics is a universal. I would not say aesthetics is a universal idea that applies anywhere because there is a culture specific aspect to it that we cannot ignore. Now the aesthetics of Carnatic music is culture specific. Okay? But then at the fundamental level, is there some aesthetics that is universal to the idea of aesthetics? Probably yes. So I'm saying yes and no to your question. Yes, at a fundamental level there is something objective, something dissociated from your own personal lives that you can have as the basis of what art is. But that doesn't mean that the aesthetics of all musical forms and all dances and all painting is the same. Because there is a culture specific, sociological specific movement that happens from the base idea that we create. The perception to the base, there are philosophies on this galore. With everybody from Plato to Confucius, everybody talking about it. Okay? But I think there is also, also in India, not just there, but also in India. So, but there is also the fact that there is a culture specific point you have to look at. So when you talk about aesthetics of Carnatic music, I am being specific of Carnatic music. So I think it works together. You cannot put it away.
I have two questions. One of it is I don't understand why you want to create this detachment from like and not like and this whole idea of aesthetics and appreciation. Because if you like something and engage with it more, that makes more sense than you don't like something and try to engage with it. I don't see why you need
Okay, we are not. Now if you like something and engage with it, first of all you try and qualitatively look at that engagement also. Okay? First we must be able to first qualitatively look at that engagement compared to an engagement where it is not about like. Now I am not saying you do not have the like. I am saying in the engagement if you remove the like out or dislike out, whichever the case may be. Say you hate Carnatic music and sitting in this place. You remove the dislike out. Say if you were going to talk about Carnatic music to a person who didn't like it. The first thing you will try and do is try and forget about dislike, just try and understand it. Right? Why do you say that?
actually I know
No,
case
no,
for it.
put your point of view.
Not just your point of view.
Because I am very unsure whether you can indeed appreciate Carnatic music.
I have not talked about
Like-
appreciation. I never used the
I'm
word
talking
appreciation.
about appreciation specifically.
I am not here. I am not here. I am not here to discuss appreciation. The moment you have to use the word appreciation, you are again falling into like and dislike. Then there is no discussion. Then there's no discussion. We have to just tell you a nice, beautiful
No,
thing.
you can go beyond. You can like something
Now,
and understand it
if you,
and-
the moment you like something or dislike something, there is no beyond there. There is very difficult to cross that beyond the point. Because the moment you like, you make a decision on your engagement with that like. I'm not saying you should not like. Let's be very clear. All I'm saying is, can you just remove that for a while to look, just try and look at what it is. Then you get back to your like and dislike. You probably like it more. You never know, right? That's also possible, right? That by understanding it without the like for a while, you may end up saying, I like it even more now. It's possible. Or if you dislike it, you may end up liking it too. Or you may even dislike it more. That's also possible.
Also,
And-
this third thing that you can like it and go with it with that and like it more through engaging with
Now,
it. Why should we-
because the moment you're engaging with something with a predisposed association with it, which is an emotional, personal relationship with it, it is very difficult to perceive it as you would like to perceive it without the emotional, your personal emotional association with it. I'm not saying there's no emotion, I'm talking about your personal association. As a musician, I'm trying to tell you. Okay? As a practicing musician, I can tell you that when I associate with music, Carnatic music, at a very personal level, and I do associate with it personal level, right? I love it passionately. When I say I love it passionately, it's a very personal, human feeling of me as an individual. The moment I try to perceive it with that position, I cannot go beyond the point. Because it will keep, everything is reiterated again back to the fact that I love it. Say I love Yadukula Kamboji. It's a raga for those who know what it is. I love Yadukula Kamboji. I do love it. If I want to understand Yadukula Kamboji, I have to move that position in the front. Because every time I hear Yadukula Kamboji, I only hear my own love for it. Every time I hear a phrase in Yadukula Kamboji, I only hear the fact that I love that phrase in Yadukula Kamboji and I love hearing my own voice in it. Let's be very honest. Love is also about myself, right? And my ego. So I love my voice. I love my voice singing. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. Because the texture of my voice, I love the way I give my voice. It's an absolute egotistic position. But every artist will have that position, I can tell you. Every artist. So when I'm in this position, now even when you're not a musician, there is an ego involved as a listener. Do not think it's only the musician who has the ego. The listener also has as much of an ego in what you like and what you don't like. So in this situation, I find it very difficult to actually comprehend the aesthetics of Yadukula Kamboji from the position that I hold. Because the position reiterates what I already feel, which is I love Yadukula Kamboji, which is very good. I am not passing judgment on that. I still love Yadukula Kamboji. In spite of all this activity, I still love it. But I'm unable to go and understand the aesthetics of Yadukula Kamboji. In fact, when I remove it and I go and understand the aesthetics of Yadukula Kamboji and come back to my position, which is naturally going to happen, I feel that the insight that I have is far more. And I love it even more. And I love my ego even more.
But is it possible to always have it like a dissociative yourself?
No, this is
Because
only
the
for
moment I see my own experience come into play.
this is only to try and understand the aesthetics of a musical form. This is not for any other reason. This exercise is completely only for that. To try and understand the aesthetics. The reason I say this now, I'll give you an example. If you start talking about ragas, you naturally somebody will say, but I love this raga. I can't question that. You love it. But if you look at the understanding of the raga, there are certain basic constructional problems in it. So can we recognize the constructional problems away from the fact that we love it, yet continue loving it? So in order to do that, you have to look at it dispassionate. So the dispassionate position is only to try and see if we can look at it from a level playing field where we are not involved personally. That is why I am taking this position, for no other reason. Okay? And please engage me and amuse me with that position. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, beyond the physical
Not got to Karnataka. We'll go on.
beyond the physical attributes and beyond my preconditioned likes and dislikes, isn't there a contextual experience? The artist probably trying to communicate at that particular moment, which is beyond, let's say that Yellow Harmony. I might have liked it very much in a concert earlier, and today my experience with that might differ. So there's a contextual experience.
I completely agree. I'm not disagreeing at all. But all that is born from your own personal engagement of life. I mean, you can extrapolate from this on what were the aspects of the last edition that you really associated with. Why are we in this position now? I don't disagree with you, but I'm just saying, can we just move these personal relationships away and just look at the aesthetics and study is the word, as an aesthetic form, just to try and see if it's possible. Okay, that's all. I'm not disagreeing with your point. I completely agree with your
Not
point.
disagreeing. Is that an extra element to consider? The contextual experience beyond physical attribute, beyond preconditions like.
Beyond the actual performance of the musician, right?
Whatever the communication is, it's an abstract.
Now we go to another stage of discussion. We're not going to a concept. Now we're looking at a concept, we're looking at concept engagement. Now that brings parameters that are far beyond. Okay? Here I'm not even going to that. If you go to the concept and look at that whole idea of, is the musician communicating with me? Now we can ask fundamental questions. Or is he sitting there even to communicate with you? Are you an incidental happening in the audience? You can ask so many questions. You can ask a lot of questions in that, right?
Beyond that, even when God is singing, or there is music from the river flowing or whatever, they say there is a rhythm and everything. So when we are listening, I don't know what is being communicated, but contextually I have an experience with
And that's what I said. I completely agree with you. But the moment you put it in the context of an environment of a concert or an engagement with a presentation, there are other parameters that come in. Okay? That definitely exist and definitely you experience and it's as much real. But I don't want to get into that discussion at this point. At this point, we will get into that discussion. It's a very important discussion. And it's crucial to how we experience Carnatic music today. It's very crucial to how we experience, but not at this point. We will get into that. Okay.
Just trying to rephrase and understand the universal aesthetics that you were talking about some time back.
Okay.
So, I'm kind of relating to either the popularity of, let's say, a Kolaveri song or a Gangnam Style.
Oh my goodness. I'm completely cured. Yeah.
So, the reason why I guess it, would I be right in understanding it that there was some
I don't understand both, by the way.
there was some aesthetic to it, which had a larger appeal to it with the people who don't have the fundamentals of that specific language or that form.
Aesthetic need not be related to popularity. Okay. Aesthetics is what is it that constructs a certain art creation, a study of that art creation. The like and dislike in either the case of Buddha or Kolaveri is this next stage of personal engagement. I'm not, at this point, I'm not getting into that. At this point, we'll definitely talk about it, but not at this point. Okay, can I proceed?
There's another element to this.
Oh God.
Husband returns after attending a concert.
Okay.
Wife asks him, did you like the concert? He said, I don't know whether I should have liked it or I shouldn't have liked it. But I'll tell you after I read the review on Friday.
Yeah, that's very true what he said. I can tell you a lot of people who will come and actually, to give you an example, a lot of people will come after a concert and say, brilliant concert. I heard this discussion in the canteens in Madras. What a concert, outstanding. And then the next day the review will come. Then you will see the same person having a conversation the next day after. But there were certain parts, I wish he'd sung this better. Now it's the same guy would have said something else the previous day. So obviously reading the newspaper also changes his own position on what the concert is. So there are so many, I mean like this you could probably talk, and also the group. If 10 people tell you it has to be bad, then you have to slowly move your position from great to at least average. You can't hold the great position. So it's, on a lighter way,
It's a confused state.
there are a lot of things. I mean, there are a lot of things that come into play. So we'll have to move from here as fast as possible. So